This video is about when wealth grows exponentially. What is wealth? Wealth is not money. Money is what allows us to buy wealth. Wealth is things, goods, and services that make us feel rich. So, for example, transistors. Transistors help us do computations. They are what forms our computer chips. Now, back in the 70s, there was very few transistors per chip. But Moore, this guy at Intel, said, look, the number of transistors per chip is doubling every 2 years, every 24 months. And amazingly, very few people would have believed this back in the 70s, but this trend continued for until now, 45 years. So when you graph the number of transistors per chip on a log scale, you get this almost straight line. And actually, a lot of technologies grow on exponential curves, so they have straight lines. Everything from bandwidth to DNA sequencing, pixels, random access memory, communication, fiber optic throughput doubles an amazing every 9 months. So now let's bring this back to money. If we look at the logarithmic chart of Bitcoin, you also see this almost straight line. Of course, it's not going to be exactly straight because the price of Bitcoin is susceptible to human greed and fear. So there's little bubbles and bursts. But on a trend, it's clearly on an exponential trend. Now, just for fun, let's do some math. Well, I'll do some math. You just watch. Let's find out what the doubling time of Bitcoin is. So the price when it started trading was 5 cents. Today it's $3.75. So at the time interval of 53 months, approximately. The formula for doubling is P2 equals P1 times 2 to the power of total time divided by doubling time. So now we got to do some rearrangement. Solve for T. Divide both sides by P1. Take the log. Rearrange it. You get this. Plug in the numbers. You get doubling time for the price of Bitcoin is 4.1 months. That's incredibly fast. Now you might ask yourself, how is this sustainable? I mean, transistors on a chip, sure, that's a function of science, but how is an exponentially growing value in money sustainable? Well, I'll give you 3 reasons. One, we're going to see a huge transfer of wealth from dollars, euro, and yen to Bitcoin as more and more people learn about Bitcoin and what makes it an objectively better money than commonly used money. 2, when they see that the stock markets and the real estate markets are going to drop sharply because, as I explain in the essay linked to below, these are both markets that are hugely supported by the weak commonly used currency that we have now. And then 3, we're headed for a future in which robots are going to make more and more stuff and deliver more and more goods. And these robots are going to need to get paid, and we're going to pay them in Bitcoin. So that's a little bit sci-fi, but there's a link to an explanation in the bottom as well if you want more about that. So now that we know this doubling time, what does this mean for somebody who has 1 Bitcoin today? If you have 1 Bitcoin today, how much do you think that's going to be worth in, say, 5 years? Well, we have the formula, so let's just plug it in. P in 5 years equals 375 times 2 to the power of 15. That's how many times 4 months goes into 5 years. What does that equal? Boom. 12.3 million.